moving on to the Titans. Since this is your team, Dean, I'll let you quick have a few moments to kind of discuss your thoughts on them overall.
Well, I think the Titans show that it's a win now. They want to win now. Making the playoffs was a step, but it's not the only step they want to take. I think the Deion Lewis signing showed that, and the Butler signing showed that the team is ready to win sooner rather than later. And I think they've got a good shot to go deeper in the playoffs. There are some really good teams in the AFC, but I think the Titans can play with any of them. The defense will be improved. And I think the offense with LaFleur bringing his system with him from LA, I think it'll be a lot improved also.
All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into Marcus Mariota first. I just wanted to highlight one thing on him before we got started. He dropped from about a 5% touchdown rate to under 3% last year from his first two seasons to last season. So should we expect some positive regression for Mariota?
Yes. You should. The TD and interception rates were way out of whack last year. I expect that he'll be more game manager, but I think that they both come back towards norm. I think the interception rate goes down, the TD rate goes up. He was hurt. So I expect that to happen. But you've got a defensive head coach and an offensive coordinator that's won with the run traditionally, especially last season. You know, Goff was good, but it was mostly Todd Gurley. So for Marcus Mariota is a fantasy prospect. He does have some rushing upside. He's more somebody I would like in a super flex league and a potential streamer. He's not somebody I'm thinking about drafting this season. The picks started coming after his injury, so I do think that was injury related. I think the touchdown percentage comes back up. But I think what this team is going to try to do, especially given the signing of Deion Lewis and with Derrick Henry and the defensive draft picks, is I think they're going to be ground and pound. I think they're going to try to run the football, and they're going to try to win with defense, and they're going to try to kind of follow what the Jaguars are doing.
All right, Dan?
So they're going to go with that. So I guess best case is Dak Prescott rookie season, where he's going to have the running upside. He's going to make a lot of safe throws. If Corey Davis can take that next step and stay healthy, you're going to see that rapport being built. I love Richard Matthews with them. They have great chemistry. Delaney Walker's always been fantastic. John Smith is a great backup. Tied him to him with that athletic upside. Mariota's always had the rushing upside. It's just he can't stay healthy, and they keep to want to make him into a pocket passer and not let him run more to protect him. And I just don't like when coordinators and coaches do that with their, with their quarterback. If their best weapon, is to get him to be mobile. He's a good play action quarterback. So if the running game can get going, I think Mariota could be back up to a decent QB2 streamer option.
So he's currently going 18th off the board at 1205.
He is my 18th.
So you have that's right.
I am right where. Yeah.
All right, Dean?
I've got him a little higher than that. I think he goes 14th or 15th, or should go a little higher. He was, you touched on it, the best play-action passer in the NFL last year. And with the focus on the rush, I think he'll have more opportunities to do that. The spread system that they're going to run is very similar to what he ran in Oregon, so I think more rushing opportunities will be there for him also. You're right. He wasn't very good last year, though. So positive regression is something to look for. I think this is a big year for him. This is his fourth year, and we should see some steps forward.
Yeah, I'm closer to you. I got him as my 16, and I think that he should jump up closer to 4.5% touchdown rate. And his yards per attempt was down half a yard last year too from his career average before that. Both those should help get him at least a little bit closer to that mid to high quarterback 2 range.
Yeah, I had him at a 4.5 touchdown rate is what I projected him at roughly. I think that he bounces back there, and I had him at 58 rush attempts for 312 rush yards and 3 touchdowns. So I do think that the upside. I think that the upside's there as a runner for sure.
Jumping to the running game, Derrick Henry's coming in at 310 for ADP. Deion Lewis at 506. Show is kind of hammered on this. We generally prefer Deion Lewis. So Dean, I want you to kick us off on this. At the ADP they're going at, do you have any preference between the two?
I think Lewis is better value. I think in the 5th round, if you can get Deion Lewis, I'd grab him in every draft I see him in. Henry, I think, will have a little more upside as far as he'll get the goal line carries, but I don't know if he'll get that many more than Dion Lewis or not. I really see these two playing in a similar type of way as Coleman and Freeman did in Atlanta a couple years ago when LaFleur was there as an assistant. They won't be exactly like Coleman and Freeman because they're different types of backs, but I think they'll try to use them in a similar manner.
I can agree with that. Do you have a projected touches for each of them?
I don't. Sorry.
I do. I've got.
Well, I know you do.
We know you do.
Sorry. I've got 221 on Lewis, 225 on Henry.
Okay.
I think that's pretty much. I think that's
so you see about a 30 touch bump for Henry and about a 15 touch bump for Lewis from last year.
Yep. I've got I've got Dion Lewis outscoring Derrick Henry though, just based on receiving. Pretty much.
Yeah. So Henry last year in full point PPR was 50 seconds in points per game with like 187 touches.
Yeah.
So
I've never been a fan of Derrick Henry. So
I've never been in either, and because of receiving in half point PPR, I've got it projected to where Dion Lewis outscores Derrick Henry by about 50 points.
Okay, so Henry you just want nothing to do with, and Lewis
Lewis is somebody I'm targeting in that round, especially if I go running back, and then I break out and go wide receiver, and I go for a flex player, and I own Dion Lewis in Dynasty. So I'm even more happy about that.
So this is always a fun game. How early are you willing to reach on Dion Lewis?
Depends how I started my draft. But I know it's not a lot to it, but I mean, like if you go like heavy wide receiver, he's a great guy to have even as your 1 or 2 there because he has the pass catching upside in an offense. It's going to want to use him. He had 91% catch rate with 0 drops. It was fantastic. On like 30-something%, opportunity share.
There were 80 plus targets to LaFleur's offense last year, and Derrick Henry has never seen more than 20. That tells me that in half point PPR, I want Dion Lewis, and I would go grab him in the 4th.
All right, same question. Where are you reaching him?
I just told you.
Oh,
in the 4th. Yeah.
The 4th. All right, so I got him at the 405 right now.
Yeah.
Dean?
Yeah, the 4th round would be where I'd take him.
All right, let's see if we can get a hype train rolling on him then. Moving on to the receiving core, Corey Davis kicking us off here, who is currently going at 606 in ADP. Or is that a good level for him projecting a second-year breakout? Dan, you start this one.
If you can stay healthy, I mean, that's been the big thing. He had 2 games of 10-plus targets last year. He flashed right away when he started the year. You can see the upside with him. It's just sometimes receivers take longer to break out. He struggled even when he came back and was healthy. He wasn't as efficient, I think, as a lot of us thought he would be. Richard Matthews was still pretty, safe when it comes to Mariota, but I expect them to really get him involved and be that number 1 guy. So 6th round, I think, is a fair price for him.
Mid-6 is fair?
Yeah.
Hopper?
No, I think it's fair for him as well. He was on pace for 95 targets last season post-injury at 5.9 a game. You're still really waiting to see the talent show, but I think he does overtake Richard Matthews in this offense for target. And don't take that wrong. That doesn't mean I don't like Richard Matthews. I think he's safer. But I do project a mild breakout for Henry. I think 3rd year is when you really see it.
Yeah.
But
Davis.
Sorry, Davis. I think 3rd year is when you really see it, though.
Okay. Dean?
Yeah, I would agree. Davis will be better. I think you'll see the talent that he can be a number 1 someday, but they're still learning that offense, and it might take them a little while. They're not the veteran receivers, other than Richard Matthews, that they had in LA last year with Woods and that other guy that's in Kansas City right now,
Watkins.
Yeah,
I mean, Cooper Kupp performed in that offense, though. So
that's true. Out of the slot, he did pretty well. But that's a fair price, I think, for Davis right now.
All right. Yeah, he's actually going dead on with my rankings. He's the 28th wide receiver off the board, and he's my wide receiver 28. Richard Matthews, currently coming in at the 1202 for
Steal.
ADP.
Steal.
No, it is a steal. He was marginally targeted as 1 last season, but even if Davis slightly overtakes him and they kind of flip-flop, it's still a great price on him.
Yeah, because I have him projected out for 85, 90 targets if Davis breaks out.
Yeah, I do too.
So, yeah, I've got him more as like a 9th round pick as opposed to a 12th.
Yeah, he's 24th in yards per route ran, 14th in yards per target, was a solid separation. He averaged 15 plus yards per reception with Mariota as his quarterback. And you had 83 targets vacated by Eric Decker. So I don't think you see that much of a target fall off with Matthews. And he's always been undervalued, just traditionally.
Yep. And I think he gets, he should be stable just with this offense regressing back to the mean with what you should expect them in terms of that positive regression out of Mariota.
Yeah, I've got him right at 90 targets.
All right, Dean?
Yeah, I think he's always been undervalued. Like you mentioned, he will be a great complement to Davis on the other side.
All right. And so you think he's a value at 1202?
Oh yeah, he should be taken way before that.
All right. Mm-hmm. Is there going to be enough volume to feed Taywan Taylor?
No.
Nope.
Not.
He's got Walker there still. Deion Lewis will probably be the number 3 or 4. I think Taylor's maybe 5 on this total.
In terms of targets?
Yeah, in terms of targets.
Yeah, I didn't even project him out just because I don't think there's going to be enough volume for him to be relevant. So I think if there's an injury to either one of them that costs him the season, then yeah, Taywan Taylor is relevant. I think that he's on the brink, sort of. But I just don't think there's enough passing volume here to support Walker, Davis, Matthews, and Taywan Taylor.
All right. Dean,
Walker,
any additional thoughts on that?
Law firm.
That's a great name, by the way.
Yeah, Taylor in the slot, he may hit a couple of big plays here and there, and they may use him in a manner of taking the top off the defense a little bit. But, yeah, he won't have a ton of targets.
All right, and then one last guy to talk about on this team in terms of redraft relevance, and that's Delaney Walker. He was 6th in points per game last year, currently going 8th tight end off the board at the 707. How do you guys feel about that?
All day. All day I will take that. He should be going as about the 6th tight end off the board because of the volume he gets and what he's done in this offense. That is disrespectful to take him as 8th. He's a lock for over 100 targets. Got him at 71 receptions, 841 yards, 5 touchdowns. It's not far off of what he's in the last several seasons, and I don't see a reason that's going to fall off.
And he's just ultra consistent. I mean, this is a tight end that's typically good for 5 and 50. And I know that's not top numbers for tight ends, but there's not much after the top 3 where Walker. It's a guy who finished number 1 in the league last year, or at least one tight ends with end zone shares at 50%. He had 13 end zone targets last year.
You hear us say first 8 and then wait. Walker's part of that first 8.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, he's my tight end 5. Dean, where do you have him ranked?
Well, I've actually got him as tight end 4. He has finished in the top 6 3 of the last 4 years in fantasy points and PPR, and he finished 7th the 1 year he didn't. So I think he's due for a little positive regression.
All right, so 707 looks to be a value for him. I would probably try to grab him in the mid to late 6th myself.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
And
it's him and Olsen that I think are the 2 biggest steals for tight end in this draft.
Those 2 and maybe Rudolph, depending on the draft, is the 3 I'm looking at.
I agree with that.
And George Kittle.
So for, I'm assuming this is going to be across the board, but we're all taking Walker over Graham, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I have Graham higher, but that's because of touchdown upside.
Okay, so 3 out of 4. Do we want to talk about Jonnu Smith at all?
Not Johnny Smith is a guy that you watch. If you're in Dynasty, I've been saying it for a while, go acquire him. Delaney Walker's got a contract situation after this year. I don't know if they bring him back. Johnny Smith's flashed last year. I think he is the tight end of the future in Marcus Mariota typically targets the tight end. Johnny Smith showed me enough last year to where I'm extremely confident in that prediction. And I don't expect to fall off of that for any reason. I think he still flashes. There's an injury to Walker. I'm all over Johnny Smith.
I agree completely.
Yeah, I think Jonnu Smith is just a younger version of Delaney Walker. I don't see Walker coming back next year either.
No, I don't either, and that's going to be all Johnny Smith. So go buy him in Dynasty while he's still cheap.
Yep.